Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon back for another video here on Raid Shadow Legends. And if my voice sounds a bit off, that's because I have been sick since last week. So my apologies, everybody. But we're here for another video, and we are winding down from Ishiyama, who I think all his events are over now, right? Actually, we had this interesting champion training event to give red stars for Lydia, for those of you who have her in a finished Faction Wars, like I obviously have not. But they were celebrating the launch of Faction Wars hard mode, and that's why they had that running. As far as other things going on, there's not a whole lot, right? There's a surprising lack of events, and that's because Ishiyama, the what's his name, is finishing up. Now, I was on holiday last week entirely. I managed to pick up 55 fragments for Ishiyama, but obviously I'm not going to get them. I'm going to be converting my fragments to Mother Mod's chests. I think I mentioned this in some of my other previous videos talking about them. Which means, though, that we should be pretty close to getting a new fusion event coming not so soon. In the near future. So I want to talk about this. I want to talk about how you should be preparing for this, as usual, when it comes to fusion events. And we're going to talk about some of these. Now, if you're a newer player, some of these events that they chuck at you at the summoning portal is a complete and total trap, for the most part. I want to talk about that as well. Now, before we get started with today's video, I do want to remind you, if you haven't started playing Raid Shadow Legends yet, what are you waiting for? Download using the QR code in the top right hand of the screen or in the description down below for the link there. Even if you want to start a brand new account, alt account, whatever, you can get yourself a free legendary Leneral, 2 free epics, Tagore, and Ugo. You can also use for a little bit longer. Oh, wait, no, ignore that. We're not using that one anymore. Because there's a much better promo code that you can use to get yourself, and I don't know why I forgot that for a second, probably because I've been sick. The legendary to Hanorak, right? This is your best starting promo code now in Raid Shadow Legends. I need to get rid of that Supreme Gallic button. And you can do that by putting in the promo code Desert Queen in the first 48 hours of a brand new account to get yourself a amazing legendary champion. There's 2 legendaries and 2 epics for free, so don't miss out. Now, before we get to the fusion side of things, I want to talk about the portal. There's some new news, I guess, right now for another day, but they always chuck these things out. They're total baits, because they do these things before a brand new event, which you need shards for, is going to launch. Now, I had done this previously. I did take the bait on a few, but I still have 13 sacred shards for the next fusion event. So that's what I'm saving for, and I also have 3,900 mystery shards. I'm also in a better position when it comes to being able to get shards on a daily basis, because I do Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare. Demon Lord, which I have mentioned in previous videos about how important those are for your free-to-play shard intake. Now, what I'm talking about here is at these progressive chances. These are super rare. Even if you get times 15, times 20, times 25, on a single character, Esther Dreamsong is actually pretty amazing as well. The chance of you actually getting the character from that is still pretty low, because there's so many legendaries that you could pull that doing it times 15 or 20, yes, it's higher chances, but, at the end of the day, it's still pretty low. The other thing about is that you should not be pulling these on anything that's not a 2x, or if your Mercy is coming around, then an extra legendary event like I did for the Ancient Shards. Okay? Because oftentimes you're not going to get legendary until about 200 Ancient Shards. You could go as much as that. And for Sacred Shards, it's every 12. But I would not pull Sacred Shards if it's not a fusion event, because you need shards to complete fusions. There's 2 major events that usually run in a fusion event, and that is Summon Rush and Champion Chase. I believe that's the one. Summon Rush depends on what shards you're using. You're going to get more points for Sacred Shards, but you can actually bolster it with Mystery Shards, with a crap ton of that to help get your points up. For Champion Chase, you get more points for summoning Void Champions. So usually using Void Shards are a little bit better, but you can still do it with Sacred Shards as well. We'll talk about that. If you go into the news section of Raid Shadow Legends, you see these things pop up all the time. Progressive chance events, maybe if you scroll, maybe different boosts. Okay, maybe not. They do like skim it from time to time. But I'm telling you, like once or twice a week, they're running summoning related boosts or +1s or 2x or whatever for different shards, because they're just using this as a way to drain some of your resources before an important fusion event, which is what we're going to talk about. They also do this sometimes for the Altar of Souls for red stars. I think there is a boost right now for Eternal Soul Stones, which are sometimes very good when it comes to some events. Also, sometimes there are Deck of Fates events, which often give you points for Soul Stones as well. So something to watch out for. I tend to only pull things like Soul Stones and Shards to maximize my chances of getting a fusion related event completed, because I feel like those are some of the best legendaries that's a little bit more quote unquote guaranteed if you have the time to do that. And that's what I want to talk about in the rest of the video, because Hell Hades is a very great resource of information. Okay, Ishiyama the Immovable was May the 5th to May the 19th, just ended yesterday pretty much. And this website is good because it does tell you basically the gap typically between events. Now, it's about 10 days, 10, 12 days or so. So you can see that Lysanthe or Beastbane was 7th to the 23rd. This may have been a bit of a gap because we had Eodix Artor running as well, which was not a fusion event, but it was like a free giveaway champion. So that might have also been why. But you can also see that Fabian, Lord Entertainer Fabian from the anniversary event, right? Ran until March 26th. So there was a little bit of gap of like, what is that, 5, 7 day, yeah, so maybe 10 to 12 days between fusion events. So maybe in about a week and a half, we'll probably know the fusion event, the next fusion character, probably by the end of this week or early on maybe the weekend or Monday or something like that. And I just think it's a good idea to kind of hold the line a little bit, recoup some of your resources, and wait for the next character. Some of them are better than others. Like, I will admit, I'm going to go back to where I started. Now, I started towards the end of the Mad Hatter fusion, and no chance in hell to get this. I also did not make Esme the Dancer, because I was still pretty new as well. However, I did manage to clear Lord Fabian. I managed to clear Lysanthe or Beastbane somehow, and I took a skip on Ishiyama the Immovable. I was also on holiday, so it wasn't really a good time for me. So I am planning on doing the next fusion event, unless the character is utter garbage, but usually they're not. At least the ones that have been coming pretty lately are pretty good, worth building kind of characters. So I'm looking forward to what that next one is going to be and what faction fusion I'll be able to use them for. I don't know why I said that. I am in need of more legendary characters. I'm in need of a broader roster, of course. So fusion events are some of the best places where you can do that. Now, Lysanthe was a hybrid fusion event, and then we had a fragment fusion event. So I think we're probably going to get a more quote unquote traditional fusion like Lord Entertainer Fabian, which is where you're doing events to get fragments for typically epic champions. Then you fuse 4 epic champions together to get yourself a bigger character. Actually, in terms of Fabian, was it not? Did they not use? Was that Hide Stitcher Burns? I think it was, wasn't it? Actually, yeah, Fabian used rares into an epic. Lysanthe or Beastbane did epics into the legendary, so sometimes it changes a little bit. Either way, we should know pretty soon. And the reason why I'm just kind of doing this public service announcement here today is because people should be aware, that they're not blowing all of their stuff. Don't fall for the traps that are sometimes these progressive chance events, because while there are really good characters listed in here, there's some seriously amazing characters in here. Fighting Tealcrest, Shuzen is amazing, but the chances of you actually pulling some of these characters are next to nothing, in my opinion, unless you're super, super lucky. Or you spend. If you spend, then you probably don't need to listen to my advice. Anyways, if you do a lot of spending anyways, you just buy shards before the fusion events, and there you go, and you're off to the races. But for everyone else who's either in the free-to-play or light spending category, I wanted to do this public service announcement just to let people know what's probably going to be happening later on, coming up pretty soon. Other than that, not much more to talk about in today's video. There's going to be a lot more. I'm just recovering, so there's going to be a lot more videos coming out this week in regards to Raid as things start popping off, because I think that we're just waiting a couple more days, and I think we're going to start seeing things happening more. Some more news come out about exactly what is going on in Raid Shadow Legends. So that's going to be it for just now. But before I go, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started playing Raid Shadow Legends yet, what are you waiting for? Download using the QR code or in the description down below to get yourself a free Legendary Alana roll and 2 free epics, Tagore and Ugo. And also don't forget to use the promo code Desert Queen. Actually, I think it's lower cases, right? Desert Queen. To get yourself a free Legendary Void to Hanorach, one of the best support champions that you can get for free. Whether that's a new account or for an alt account that you might want to start. So that's going to be it for now, guys, and I'll see you all on the next video.
And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.